You're right, Gangrene UK. You're joining us for episode 22. The follow-up, the aftermath of the visit to Mile High. How are we all feeling, guys? Obviously, we weren't together for this one. We probably needed each other. What are we thinking?
It was a tough game again. I think that's the fairest assumption, is that it was just tough sledding all the way, wasn't it? Defense got run on quite a bit. Offense couldn't get going at all. It was just a tough game, really.
Yeah. James, how are you feeling? What do you think?
Yeah, pretty much the same in general. It was quite a sad night. Sunday evening. I was very sad for a while, but got over it now. I really don't know if we're setting Zach up for success with 35 passes a game, but that's to be discussed. So
yeah. What about you, Ken?
I don't know how I kept it on, to be honest. I don't know how it lasted to the fourth quarter. Like, it was so hard. It was a hard watch.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't rewatched it back, which is unusual for me.
Why would you?
You are?
Why would you?
Well, to be fair, I watch every game back on a Monday or a Tuesday, just, in case I missed anything, or, when you see all the reviews and everything, you're like, I need to watch that back.
Yeah.
I haven't felt like I need to. But any positives from the game?
Anyone?
I mean, I've got one. I think in the second half we held them a little bit better. We adapted again. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We didn't adapt well enough, but we adapted. Like, I'm ever the optimist. I'm always on the positive side of things. I mean, yeah. Well, let's start with Zach. Obviously, 35 passes a game.
Yeah.
Is it too many?
Yes and no for me. That you're going to want him to be throwing 35 passes a game in year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. So, okay, that means there's going to be more mistakes in his rookie year because he's putting the ball in the air more. But it's nothing that you're not going to ask him to do in 12 months' time, 24 months' time. So just let the kid let it rip. And if you learn from a mistake, making as many as possible in as short as possible time should, in theory, mean that you learn faster. Providing that he doesn't get gun shy, I have no issue with him ripping it all the time.
Yeah.
If he gets to a point where he goes, I don't want to throw it 10 yards downfield, I don't want to throw it 30 yards downfield, then I've got a problem with it. But providing he doesn't start checking everything down, just let the kid rip it, go for it.
Kane, you said yes. No, you said no, didn't you? Do we want Zach throwing 35 attempts?
He needs to learn, really, don't he? He needs to do it and learn. That's why we drafted him, for the arm and what he can do with his arm. So it's one of them. Yeah. The run game needs to help him, but he still needs to throw it as well. So he's going to make mistakes, and it's just one of them things.
Yeah.
My main thing is it's just there's no time to throw with the line at the moment. So calling up, I think there was one drive, but we got okay position off a good defensive start. We just came out pass, and gave the ball back. And obviously I wanted to develop and whatnot, but I just said he's not going to get any time to develop. He's got, I think, 1.7 seconds on average to throw the ball. So
yeah,
it's just.
I think it's a very fair point, but the other thing I think they're very aware of is they're not opening run lanes either.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, do you want to give it 2 runs up the middle, gain no yards, and then he's got 1 attempt to get 10 yards, or do you want to let him have 3 attempts to get 10 yards? It's a really difficult one, isn't it? I don't think you're wrong at all, James, and I think it's part of the reason why he struggled so much was because we were very one-dimensional, and they just went, well, Zach's going to throw it because he had to, because there was no running game to mention really. Again, the running game wasn't particularly fantastic, and the run game blocking is atrocious. I put in our group chat when we were talking during the game, I think, to see P. Ryan come back would do us a world of good. He strikes me as the only back we've got that really understands protection and has got the size to deal with it. So Zach needs something, doesn't he?
He is due back this week, I believe.
He is,
right? I mean, looking at it, right, I mean, I mentioned this Kane pre-video, 19 for 35, right? 160 yards.
Yeah.
But then obviously the stat line is 4.6 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
But really, he got 160 yards off 19 completions.
Yeah.
Which is 8.5 yards, rounded up like from the 100th. Which, if we were cutting down how many weren't connected, we would. If somebody said to us, "Your rookie quarterback's going to come in and he's going to get 8.5 yards per throw," we'd be like, "Yeah, we'll take that, thanks."
Yeah, and that's where the issues are coming from, isn't it? Is the fact that he is pushing the ball downfield.
Yeah.
You know, the reason he's throwing these picks isn't because he's making bad throws necessarily. It's because he's trying to push the ball downfield and move the Jets down the field. At least he's not scared of throwing at people and making good choices. And, you know, they've been talking about the picks that he's thrown and everything. And yes, he's thrown some picks, but 3 of his picks so far have been off the hands of our own players. Well, you can't have Corey Davis cough one up out of his hands. You can't have plays like that. It just doesn't work for quarterbacks when your own players aren't helping you out. Okay, if you can't catch it, hit the thing to the floor. Don't flick it up in the air.
Yeah. And we said this, I think, week 1 and week 2. They have to be doing more to stop the interceptions when there is a chance for it. Like, hit it away, knock it down, do whatever we can. Just don't fumble it up in front of you.
Yeah.
No.
Don't flick it up in the air.
He properly reminds me of Josh Allen year 1 without the running. Just how he's playing, just going for it. And without the O-line as well. When he finally gets to O-line, maybe he'll be even better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at it, right, looking at the numbers, we got 11 first downs, right? They got 22.
Yeah.
But we both got 10 throwing.
Yeah.
We only got 1 on the ground.
Yeah.
Where the Russian ones, they got 9.
Yeah.
So it just annihilated us that way. Like, our run stop at Denver was horrific. Our tackling, I thought tackling was weak.
Yeah, agreed. Tackling's were bad.
Ones. There was a couple of good ones, but I mean, like, obviously we don't want to sit and just chat about Zach all night, which we could, because I mean, I think I will mention his presser afterwards.
Yeah.
Which I think is very much understated how well he handled the press. And having listened to the Eagles presser with QB last night, I can't even remember his name. Hurts, yeah. Have you heard it?
No.
Where he went, well, it's like when you go to the toilet and have a dump. You flush it and move on. You don't stand there smelling it, do you? Anyway, tonight, we had a dump. We're going to flush it and we're going to move on. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't fill me with confidence, mate. Where Zach stood there and he didn't take the blame, but he didn't pass any blame.
He didn't put any blame on anyone else, did he?
Yeah. It was like, I have to do better. We have to do better. Where then obviously we've seen some things come from O-line, which the O-line was horrific. Yeah. I think we have to see something happen this week. An alternation, like we have to alternate something.
Yeah. It's the tight ends and the running backs as well. They need to do something.
Yeah. I mean, tight end, we don't have any tight ends on our roster.
No, but to block, you don't like a tight end in the NFL today is only considered a good tight end if they can catch. Fuck me, we don't want one that can catch. We just want one that can get in the way of a defensive end. You know, don't let that really, really big guy just walk straight past you because that's not ideal. And I don't expect him to make 40-yard catches.
I was expecting us to see like Westcott doing some blocking. But I mean, he got limited attempts the other night. I mean, if he even got any, to be honest. I mean, he's not even on the stat line. But obviously, say that again.
They need to put him at tight end just to block.
But I mean, there were some that I know we've said it. We don't know the play call, so we don't know whether they are trying to get out for the pass.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're avoiding tackling.
Yeah.
I mean, this weekend, if they turned around and said they'd release Croft, release Griffin, and release Brown, I know Brown wasn't on, but I don't think I'd be upset as if they brought somebody in. Like, you all know how I feel about the Zach Ertz situation. I would take Ertz right now as a blocker, and he's not even that good at that because tight end, awful. Running backs, I can forgive Johnson and Carter because the rookie. Well, Johnson's not a rookie, but let's face it, he got 3 games last year, 4 games. He's a rookie still. Carter's a rookie, but you can't. I don't know. Like Coleman, just awful.
And I think the concerning bit for me is I can't decide, is the O-line really like this under-talented, or is it down to coaching as well? Yeah. Because we were all raving about AVT. Moses coming in was supposed to be this brilliantly rated tackle. You've got Fant, who functioned pretty well for us last year, particularly in pass pro. Becton, okay, he's out now, but functioned well last year. All of a sudden, Becton's not looking great. All of a sudden, AVT isn't the starting guard everyone thought he was with the 14th pick. So is this these guys aren't anywhere near as talented as were being made out, or is it just bad coaching on this new sort of offensive staff? Is there a bit of a problem maybe with O-line coaching? And similar thing with defense, we were talking about run stops. Mm-hmm. The players are in the position to make run stops. They're in the position to make the tackles, but they're not making clean hits and clean wrap-ups. That's coaching. Not wrapping your man up is coaching. That's a fundamental of football, wrapping your guy up.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I am going to defend AVT, but not for his play. But if we look at the last 3 drafts, all of the top guards, their first year have been pretty diabolical. And then they've stepped up a little bit in the second. Like, you think, like, top guard last year was Andrew Thomas?
No, tackle.
He's playing guard.
He's left tackle for the Giants.
He was playing guard the other day.
Was he? That's a downgrade.
He's
a left tackle. Was he really?
So Wirfs was all right, but let's face it, he went in. But the year before, the top guards, none of them have kind of went in and been like, they were elite in college and have been all right halfway through the season.
I can forgive tackles. Guards I find much harder, I must admit. I can forgive tackles because they're on an island against much better players than they were ever in college. But I find guards is a difficult one. They're sandwiched in a safe space, essentially. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, is he in a safe space when McGovern in the middle? We've all seen that still frame of McGovern just tackling midair and guarding. Yeah. But I mean, obviously he responded saying he was meant to move right. Yeah, but we don't want to know who was in the wrong. All we want to know is why you stood there. What can you do next time not to be stood there? I do think there's issues with defenses being called out. I think obviously you mentioned that. I think week 1, Otis. Yeah. Maybe Zach's not, but in his presser he did say he's reading it right, and nothing's surprising him. But is he articulating it? Is my worry.
Got to be some sort of chemistry issue.
Yeah,
with with everyone for it to just fall apart every play.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are probably going to see Mims come in this week.
I'd like to see him come in.
As well.
Well, I think, yeah, Moore could be out. So obviously he's got concussion. So then you've got to think that we should have Crowder back if his groin's better. So then we should be running with Corey, Crowder, Berrios, Mims and Cole, because Smith might make the room obviously for his gunning ability, but the gunning play was even terrible because we did no major stops the other night on any returns. and we punted 6 times.
The one I'm finding difficult a bit with Smith at the moment is I actually think he's playing well on offense. I don't understand why they're not actually giving him an opportunity to play a bit of offense. He's made some nice catches when he's been in, and he's showing good speed and good routes.
Yeah, and I mean, do you think that's just because we've got Cole and Davis? I mean, I think Cole's getting a little bit more hype over what he's done than what he's doing.
I don't think I've seen Cole do anything.
Well, I mean,
I haven't been that impressed with Cole yet.
Well, so he had 2 receptions the other night for 30 yards, 15 average, but one of them was for 23.
It was in like dead time as well.
Yeah. But I mean, if we would take that, but 2. I mean, Corey Davis had 5 for 41, 8.2 with a longer 13.
Yeah.
We need bigger numbers off these guys. I mean, they should be hitting 60, 70.
No.
Corey needs some help massively, doesn't he? I think if they keep game planning like they are at the moment, just to game plan Corey Davis all the time, it's going to be a long season for Wilson and for Davis, because it's fantastic having a top wide receiver, but if they're going to double team him every play, somebody else needs to help you out, and we're just not getting that at the moment, are we?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anybody who's really stepping in and up, which it's a shame because we have got that skill. I mean, that wide receiver room's not weak.
No.
I mean, obviously with a couple of injuries recently, it's been a bit weaker, but yeah. All right, let's move on to defense, which we kind of mentioned a little bit. We've got to mention Big Q, 1.5 sacks, was disruptive. He looked good.
Much better this week.
I thought, if I'm being honest, May wasn't terrible. He was in the right places, but his tackles looked a bit soft.
Yeah.
For May, normally May's tackles, he gets his arm around you, you're going down.
Yeah.
Like, Mosley was everywhere, but he had a couple of mares. We mentioned it pre-video of him where he wrapped up one of the receivers coming through. The receiver wiggled his bum and CJ went off him.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I watched that one back on a video, just that play, and like you can see CJ on the floor shouting at himself. He was fuming.
Yeah,
you don't see that from some of the others. I mean, sorry, go on.
The defensive situation's been an odd one, hasn't it? Because the one thing I thought we were going to have was a fundamentally sound defense. I expect them to be able to play zone coverage, be able to tackle the man in front of them, be able to stand in their run gaps. And it actually seems like at the moment, the corners seem to be able to play zone and seem to be able to tackle the man in front of them. The defensive line and the linebackers just don't want to hit a running back. Yeah. It's strange. Javonte Williams had an absolute field day. And then to bring in Marvin Gordon as well, who is a good player in his own right, he just run all over us, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the stat line and ignore what you've seen player-wise, Javonte Williams is distinctly average, if that.
Yeah.
Like 12 carries for 29 yards, average 2.4. His long was 14 and he got 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
That is just, he's a red zone running back.
He didn't look like that in the game though, did he?
No, he looked better than that. I mean, Gordon's a great player.
Yeah, definitely.
18 carries, 61 yards, 3.4. None of them have, like, their most successful runner in that whole game was Teddy Bridgewater. He averaged 6 yards.
Yeah.
How did you find the Denver game, James? Like, their style of play? Do you think it affected us?
Yeah, a bit. It felt like they were just going to grind us out, and like Teddy's never going to turn the ball over. He's going to hit the open man. He didn't have to throw that much, and it was just grinding us down. And with the offense coming off so quick, I think they just got tired by the end. And we did let in that touchdown quite quick. It was just like kind of a ground and pound type mentality that we couldn't compete with, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like they played 80s Jets football against us.
Yeah.
I am going to mention Patrick for them. He's so underrated. Like, he is very, very underrated in that team. But I thought Fant was non-existent. We were all right there. We kept the tight end out of it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, their defense, we did not challenge them on defense. Like our offense just give up.
I'm sick of seeing that photo. It happened the same last week, I think, or the Panthers week, and where there's nobody in the middle, and the defense are just coming straight for Zach.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the style written up. Now, I think I mentioned it on one of the earlier weeks. We have to take into account that for 8 months, right, our brand new OC was working with a passing game consultant who's a veteran, who then, like, obviously not by his own fault, obviously, passed away 4 weeks before the season starts.
Yeah.
You cannot replace Greg Knapp like that. And our whole playbook is based around his throwing game concept. We don't have the person who wrote the playbook on the throwing game. We need to adapt that. And I think when you see some of the players later on, we are adapting a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But that can't be overlooked. You almost have to say, I can forgive the passing game not being great, but that running game has to get better. The O-line coach, running game coordinator, and the OC need to be, this is where we're going to win it. And then when we have the chance, when we're close in a game, Zach can open up.
Yep. They definitely need to sort out the O-line coach. I think needs to sort out what the hell's going on with the blocking scheme, whether it's pass or run. They can't be letting the pressure up the centre like they are at the moment. It's coming too quickly up the gut of the offensive line. I think it's going to be an interesting one. As you say, the adjustments have been impressive. I've been pleased with the adjustments. I'm wondering and hoping, is it going to be a bit like the Bill Belichick era of the Patriots, where we all go, oh, this is really, really bad. It's August, September, we're not very good. And then all of a sudden it comes to October, November, December, and you go, oh, we look like a different team. All of a sudden we've learned, we've adjusted. You know, there are a number of teams in the NFL that take sort of the first 6 weeks to get used to what's going on and how to get better and how to improve. I think the Saints are always another one. You sort of look at the Saints and go, they're so-so. And then by the end of the season, you're like, Saints are good.
Yeah. Well, I think my mate said this year is the first year they haven't went 0-3.
Yeah. For
a few years. Now, just jumping back onto O-line and run game coordinator, that's John Benton. He's 18 years in, and he had a top 10 rushing offense for 7 of the last 11. Maybe it is just that kind of first year new team, like what happened with Salah in San Fran. Because Benton was the run game coordinator for 2017 to 2020 in San Fran.
Yeah.
He had that run defense where I remember last year's fantasy, we were all trying to pick up Mozart.
Yeah.
Like we were going out there going crazy. So I think it is just a case of we kind of need just to bed it in. He can't be happy with the way this is looking.
I don't think anyone can they, to be fair? I think all of them are sizably pissed off with the situation that they're in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at his history there. Like, he's literally only done O-line. And he's done St. Louis Rams, Houston Texans, Miami Dolphins, Jaguars, San Fran, and Jets. So, I mean, most of them have had success running backs in them eras. So, yeah, I mean, there's a chance. But he needs to step up, or he might be looking for a new team next year. Because if he doesn't get better during the season, he ain't going to get better next year.
No. And Salah won't stand for anyone that's not carrying their weight either. I think you'll see a lot quicker decisions around internal staff with Salah than you have potentially with older coaches. I think he'll sort of say, no, this isn't working out. This is my opportunity. We've got the good GM. We've got myself. Let's get the next guy in and give someone else a chance.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on that. So where do we see it going this week? I know we are going to do another show on Titan build up, but how are we feeling going into it?
Yeah.
I feel like if they don't want to tackle the Denver running backs, they may as well all stay at home because Henry's going to be an absolute freak.
He's looking angry this year.
I think they might be all right with the wide receivers, but yeah, Henry's going to destroy us.
Julio Jones, dude.
Yeah, Julio looks decent. AJ Brown's been open a lot.
AJ Brown's out, I think.
Is it? That helps.
Our cornerbacks have been good though, haven't they? Like, against most.
Yeah. Henry's going to be a problem, isn't he? I think he's back to stiff arming and just running over absolutely every man and his dog. So it's going to be a tough one. But you know, the one thing I do take a bit of heart from the Tennessee Titans is I think they've got a defense that is likely to give up a few points. And based on what the Seahawks did, it's going to be the sort of longer developing, deeper routes, providing that we can keep Wilson up, which is what he seems to like to be doing at the moment. He seems to want to throw the ball downfield. And if they do activate someone like Mims or Smith, who ends up playing a few more plays early on, there's going to be some deep routes there available, I think.
Yeah, I think we've always got that chance to throw up an upset. If I had the choice of Titans or in London, I'm taking London. I will take a defeat this week to win in London. But yeah, I would rather do 2 on the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all in all, none of us are jumping off a bridge, are we?
No. Keep calm and carry on.
Do you know what? I'm not disappointed. I'm just not happy.
Yeah.
We know it's gonna be tough. We'll say this every week. Even when we win, it's gonna be tough. But we just have to stay strong and keep going. It will happen. So right, guys, we will see you all again soon, and yeah, keep an eye out for a post later on this week.